Hello and welcome to Class B. This class is all about sales and business planning, and most of it's going to be from the course. So please take the time to do the course because that's going to be most of what we're pulling from here today, okay? So in the course, you should have gone over the sales fundamentals, first-time homebuyer content, the marketing center, that type of stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, EXP keeps changing things. So the first thing we're supposed to go over is the marketing center, but it's different now and I'm not as familiar. I don't like it as much as I used to. But let's take a look. So it used to have like all kinds of really cool templates and like a cool program, but now it's just Canva. So when you get into Canva, you're going to be looking at EXP brand templates, and this is where you're going to make all of your stock art from door hangers to newsletters and everything in between. I think the most common things you're going to probably be making is like flyers and brochures. If you have an open house, for example, you can pop open one of these bad boys, swap out your pictures, put in your own text. It's not super easy or super simple to explain, but this is going to be where most of your templates come from if you're trying to use the EXP templates for most art. And I don't have a lot to add here. I don't honestly love the Canva system. I've had to make all of my own things in Canva and just use that because I feel more comfortable with it. But if you're looking for the stock stuff, whether it's art or postcards or social media content, whatever, it's all here. Okay. So let's get rid of that guy. So item number 2 is we're supposed to meet and greet some lenders. So do me a huge favor and take down Scott Gross's info. He's my favorite lender. He can close just about anything. He's not going to be perfect in every way, but what I love Scott for is that if you have a customer that's difficult, no matter what they're doing or why they're difficult, Scott's going to be your guy. Of course, you should be networking and meeting other lenders and seeing what's going on. But when we work with lenders, the number one thing is, oh my gosh, can they close on time? Do they actually answer the phone? Are you talking to a person or a 1-800 number, right? So with Scott, when you call him, you're calling him direct. He's super responsive, even if it's super late or super early. He has everything that you need in a lender. So please give him a call and say hi. Ask him some basic questions. Ask him what kinds of things he wants you to be doing as a realtor. Ask him any questions you have about types of loans and the processes, and just generally take some time to pick his brain and get comfortable enough to at least send your clients to him and do what you need with your clients. But you do need to have lenders in your repertoire here. So pretty please reach out to Scott, say hi, and just touch base and learn from him. Now, the big meat and potatoes of the class that we're going to be coming up on and that we're going to be doing when we meet is going over the goals, the how to get leads, and overall like scheduling and building your business. Okay, let's actually close this real quick. So, as a realtor, you are self-employed. Really, you work for EXP, but you're a contractor. You are in control of your schedule, your marketing, your budget, everything that you do. So, this class is all about putting your budget together. Now, they should have gone over this in the class if you watched it, but I want you to put together a basic business plan in terms of what's the average commission? How does that split look like? What is your income goals, right? And they cover all this in the class, and they should have given you some spreadsheets. But I want you to fill it out with your business plan so we can go over it, see how realistic it is, and generally point you in the right direction to get you to the goals that you need to be happy and stay in this industry, right? So we're not going to go over that in detail because it's gone over in the class, but do please bring the business plans together. What I'm going to be looking for when we meet is I'm going to want to see, first and foremost, your overall goals and personal budgets. I'm going to want to see your how you're going to generate leads, and we can talk about those here in just a minute. And I want to see what you're going to do with your schedule. It's really important that you block out your schedule and that you have your schedule set up in such a way that you can be productive. If you just wing it, you're going to not do anything, right? So like for me, for example, 4 to 6 every day, cold calling. One way or another, I'm calling people. Every single week, Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 3, open houses, right? And you can work your schedule around those types of things. And if you need help putting together your schedule, either let me know or let ChatGPT know. It's fantastic for helping you put together a schedule. So, those aside, the big thing for this video is going to be talking about lead sources. Now, lead sources are not one size fits all, okay? Not every single realtor has the same lead source. You talk to one guy and they'll say Zillow is amazing. You talk to someone else, they will say Zillow is awful. You talk to one person that's like, hey, I just do charity and events. Another person says it's never worked for me. So, nothing that we say here is going to be set in stone. It depends on the person, depends on your style, depends on what makes you happy. The number one lead source you can do is the one that you enjoy. Okay. If you hate cold calling, don't cold call. If you hate the job, you're going to quit, right? You need to do things that you enjoy and that also give you results. So, if we're going to talk about these, then I really want to talk about a couple of the big ones that people always bring up. So, if we share screen again, if you want to do mailers and your goal is to just do mailers till you're rich, you're going to look up USPS EDDM. That's the Postal Service Every Door Direct Mail. Okay. And when you get in, you're going to get on this page. You're going to click on the EDDM online tool. And you're going to look at the zip code you want to do, ideally around where you live, because people see you there the most, right? Going back to my old area, 98532 is what I meant to do. We're in Washington now, right? Anyways, so when you put in your zip code, it's going to give you a little map kind of like this. It's going to work. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's great. And it opens up this map where there's all these little dots, right? And this is going to show you a mailer route. Now, I prefer doing a USPS mailer route because even though this is 640 addresses, or let's pick one. I like this one. Even though this is 344, I'm sorry, 621 houses, the postage is only $138. So if you were to mail individual pieces of mail, I believe the USPS price right now is 70 cents. If you do USPS EDDM, you can do 621 houses for $138. I don't know what that turns out to be per house, but it's much cheaper, right? And then on top of that, you don't have to worry about what all the addresses are. A lot of the systems need to know what every single address is. If the address is wrong, it kicks the mail back to you. This is pretty easy. You just pick a block and then you've got to follow USPS guidelines and then you can mail a whole area. Now, don't go too crazy. If you're doing mailers, you want to make sure that you can do it consistently for at least 12 months. At minimum, one time a month is okay. 2 times a month is even better. I don't know if I'd do more than 2 times a month though, but you want people to see your face and you want people to remember you with whatever you're mailing. So if you're going to do this, try to come up with something that's memorable, that is your brand. There are some basic guidelines for how to do USPS. They have pages over here that show you. If you need help with the guidelines and how to do it, let me know. But if you're going to do mailers, this is the way to go, at least in my opinion. Now, if we stop screen sharing again, what's the next thing? The second thing they recommend we talk about is working with a lender or inspection company and share the cost. If you can find someone, that's awesome. I have a hard time finding lenders and other people that will share costs. But if you can, I would strongly recommend sharing on Realtor.com leads or Zillow leads. Those seem to be the easiest to share cost and easiest to work with in that way. You can also do it, of course, with postcards and anything else. But most people aren't going to want to partner with you unless they believe in you or unless you've done a deal with them. So, that is a great idea to do, but it's not going to be guaranteed. So if you can find people to share costs with, that's awesome, right? The next item they recommend is door hangers and door knocking. I hate door hangers and door knocking. I feel like it's going to get me shot. Okay, so if you're outdoor hanger and door knocking, what I strongly recommend is on every single home, you bring a door hanger. I've done ones that are like, I've got a buyer in your neighborhood, or hey neighbor, happy Halloween, or any of that type of stuff. And I've never really had people call me back on door hangers, but I have had people recognize me and have the door hangers pay off in other ways. One time I was out handing out door hangers and I went to put the door hanger on the door, and this guy opens the door and he goes, "Hey, how can I help you?" And I go, "Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm just looking for homes to list in town." And he goes, "Check this out." He opens the door further. He's an investor. He was selling his portfolio. They just finished the clean out. They were looking for someone to list the home that week. The harder you work, the luckier you get, right? So if you're going to do door hangers and door knocking, make sure it's in a neighborhood like a suburb or somewhere that you're going to get in less trouble with. Make sure that you are a little bit conscious of your surroundings. Some people are very, very weird about people walking up to their door. So, make sure that you're in good clothes, collar, all that type of stuff so that people can see you're professional and don't think that you're some ruffian trying to steal their stuff, because bad things can happen. Uh, Aside from that, they recommend social media. Social media is amazing. Okay. If you're going to do social media, the trick is to use the platform, be consistent, chat with people. Okay. So you want to, if you're going to be a Facebook group person, be on the Facebook groups and don't just share like, "I'm a realtor, hire me." Okay. You want to be engaging with people. When people are asking about lenders, when people are like, "Hey, I'm homeless," when people are talking about anything, you want to say hi, and people will figure out, just from who you are, that you're a realtor. You don't need to be like, "I'm a realtor," and every time. You just want to be a good person. And that's what almost all of the lead sources come down to, right? No matter what you pick, the person that knows the most homeowners, or not just knows, the person that has the most homeowners, that knows them, likes them, and trusts them, will have the most business. It's that simple. If they know you, like you, trust you from realtor.com, from Zillow, from mailers, from events, from whatever, that's how you get business. Okay. So, you can do all these little tricks, but remember, the end game goal is to have the most homeowners know you, like you, and trust you. And then how you get there is just up to you, right? There's not really a big difference between a Google ad and a flyer and being on a big billboard, right? It's all kind of the same. So, what I do recommend for new agents that need now business is Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads are great if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, then I strongly recommend we dig deep on for sale by owners, expireds, maybe first time homebuyer seminars, things that can give you now business that are much cheaper to advertise and cheaper to do. But I also want you to keep in mind that nothing in real estate's free. Okay. If you're doing an event, you need to get pizza. You got to rent out the event. You got to do stuff. If you're doing mailers, you're paying for the postage. You're putting out the postcards. Zillow leads, cost per lead, right? Zillow leads in general are going to be your topmost cost per goal, or topmost cost per lead goal. Okay. So, in my opinion, I think you should not spend more than a third of your commission check on uh, lead generation. So, if your average commission check is $9,000, I don't want to see you spending more than $3,000 per closing. If it costs you more than $3,000 to get a closing, in my opinion, it's not worth it, because, about 20% or more when you're in the mentor program or when you're on a team is going to go to the brokerage. And then if you're spending 30% on your marketing, that's a small cut for you, right? So we want to try to keep our costs down. Other ways you can generate leads really easy. Of course, open houses, almost free. You got to drive out there. If you're smart, you're going to have some flyers. You're going to have some cookies. You're going to bring a speaker or something, right, to keep the vibe good and chat with people. So there's a lot of ways to do this cheap, but there's no way to generate leads for free. So so for now, come up with ideas for how to market. And when we get together at our meeting, we're going to talk about, again, the overall business plan that you're going to have for the business. We're going to talk about how you want to generate leads and try to dial that in to help you do a better job and keep cost efficient, and figure out what you need to live, and in general, how many sales we have to do to give you that quality of life. Looking forward to seeing you guys at the meeting, and we'll talk soon.